Hey, what's going on, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And today I'm going to be doing a video on... I was like, do I want to say lands? Or do I want to say let's not be basic with lands? And I realized that the second one did not make sense. So we're going to be talking about EDH lands that are clearly not basics. That'd be so weird. It's like, what EDH lands should you run? Have you ever considered basics? Like, what? I have clearly done 5 other parts of these, so there's 50 other lands. If you want to check those videos out, they will all be listed in the number below. This is part 6. Wow, that's a lot. I already have plans for part 7. So this is definitely a series that is continuing on my channel because Wizards of the Coast is always coming out with just such rad lands, and I'm like... about this. There's some older stuff I haven't even talked about yet, so very exciting, but let's just hop into it. So the first land I want to talk to you guys about is Path of Ancestry, and I love this card because, I mean, well, I love this card for like a lot of reasons, but it does enter the battlefield tapped, but I heard my camera make a noise, and I'm scared, but I'm crossing my fingers that it's okay, and it was just something in my head. So anyways, Path of Ancestry, it does come into the battlefield tapped, but you add your mana, 1 mana of your, 1 mana of any color that your commander produces into your pool, and when you do, if it's a creature type that shares a creature type with your commander, you get to scry 1. I like this card for a lot of reasons because, first off, it taps for anything of your commander's color identity, which is really good. So just like focusing on that first part of the text, that's like a really good ability because it's basically like another like command tower pretty much, which is really awesome. After that, if it shares a creature type as your commander, so if you're running this in a tribal deck, you get to scry 1. In my opinion, this, like, you could run it in other decks, like, whatever, but I think in tribal it makes the most sense because then you're just always getting the chance to scry 1, which is so, so good. Path of Ancestry is an amazing card, belongs in every tribal deck. It's so good. Wonderful. The next card is Karns Bastion. I've been seeing this card pop up in a lot of different types of places. This belongs in Infect decks, it belongs in Planeswalker decks, it belongs in +1/+1 counter type theme decks. Like, seriously, there's so many things that this card can fit in. And one thing I want to note is, like, it is a lot of mana to proliferate. It's 4 and tap it, which is a lot, I will admit. However, one thing I just want to note is this to me is like a more, I would say like filler card. You're probably not always going to be tapping Karns Bastion to use the second ability. However, it's really good that you have that ability stapled on, as well as, for this, it's good to do when you have nothing else to really do with your mana. You're kind of like having a lot of dead draws, there's not a whole lot going on. This is a good card to have in your back pocket just to kind of like give you something to do in case you don't have mana. So it's a really good like utility land for that reason. So I do like this card in a variety of any type of countery types decks. Speaking of countery, yep, it's just make things up, Tracy, is, I don't actually know how to say this, but there will of course be a picture, Novijen, Heart of Progress. I don't really know how to say this, but this card's awesome. In green, blue, +1/+1 counter decks, there's not a whole lot to say about this card, honestly. You put a +1/+1 counter on each creature that came into play this turn. Also, you can do this for your opponent, so if you want to be really political, you can just like, be like, I'll give you some +1/+1 counters on your creatures if you don't attack me, and then it's just like, it just becomes like a fun political card. And then if you don't do that ability, it just taps for a mana, and it doesn't have to the battlefield tap, so good card. Great. This card is, I think, doesn't look good, but it's actually really good, and that is Mortuary Mire. So it enters the battlefield tapped and it adds a swamp to your pool, and it enters the battlefield, you may put target creature from your graveyard on top of your library. I really like this card in mono black color deck specifically. I think if you're running this in another color, maybe like green black, I like it, but anything more than 2 colors, I'm not a huge fan of this card because I feel like you're running so many other like utility lands, and I feel like there's just better things at that point. But I do like this card again in mono and dual color decks because just putting something back from your graveyard to your library is like really good. Like, someone cast this card against me like the other day, and then I was like, this is a good card. Like, this is just does work, and it doesn't look like it's anything wild or crazy because it does an ability and then it just taps for like a black, but it's honestly really good for that recursion aspect, and I do like it. The next card I want to talk to you guys about is such an interesting card, and that is Nimbus Maze. First off, this card art is stunning. Stunning. I need it in foil because, oh my goodness, I don't think they ever made expeditions of this, and I would, like, love to see that because I think it'd be so great. But, you add white to your pool if you control an island, and you add blue to your pool if you control a plane. So it's, like, basically if you're running these two colors, I would really recommend this card because it just gives you, like, the opposite colored mana. It's a really, really interesting card and really fun, but I like that it gets you your opposite colors. I don't know, this is just such a cool card to me, and I think it's good if you're running, like, other type of, like, dual lands and things like that. Like, if you have, like, an islands, planes, like, that would be really good, because then you could just get both automatically. So, I don't know, this card is just so fun and, like, unique to me. I just, there's nothing like it. I just really like it. I hope that they come out with a cycle of these lands, honestly, because I think they're so cool. There is a cycle. This is in a cycle, but all of the other lands are different. Like, this is the only one of its kind, and I honestly, genuinely hope that they do a cycle of these, because I think they're so cool. And I don't think a lot of people know about this card, so that's why I wanted to include it. It's very unique. The next card I want to talk about is really expensive, but totally worth it if you're building tribal decks, and that is Cavern of Souls. Y'all, Cavern of Souls is so good. Honestly, I really hope this card gets a reprint because it's so stupid. It's like $60, which is outrageous, honestly, but it's so good. Having that ability that can't be countered, and on top of that, it just adds anything into your pool of that creature type, which is so good. And it doesn't enter the battlefield tapped. Like, honestly, I, like, if you're like, oh, do I need Cavern of Souls? If your playgroup is, like, counter heavy, I would, like, this is a card I would splurge for. Like, honestly, like, this is a card, like, EDH card's worth the money. Like, I've talked about this in one of those videos. Like, it's worth the money. Like, it's a great card. Because it just does, it just, like, like, not being countered, like, this card's so good. So good. Okay, the next card is Gavony Township. I feel like if you're running these colors, it doesn't really matter what your deck is. Like, you're probably gonna be playing Gavony Township because honestly, like, why would you not? This is kind of another card like Karns Bastion where, like, even if you're not running, like, a pulse on counter, put that aside. It's similar to that because it's a nice utility land. You know, you might not put everything in Gavony Township. It's not, like, something that you're spending all of this mana on. But, like, if you just, like, have the mana and you're not doing anything else with it, like, who cares? Just, like, put mana into Gavony Township. Like, why would you not? You know, it's kind of thing, which is what I like about this card. And then if you're not using it, it just taps for a colorless, like, which is really nice. And honestly, like, I think it looks like a lot, like, 4 and then tap it, but, like, if you have, like, a team of stuff, like, this can get out of hand real fast. Honestly, leave this card hanging for a couple of turns when you're not really drawing a whole lot, where you're not really doing anything, and then just, like, have it. And again, if you don't use it, it's, like, no harm, no foul, like, whatever, you just have it on board, and it, like, kind of can provide a threat, especially if you, like, have mana untapped, and then you, like, do something else in a turn, and then they're like, are they gonna Gavony Township? Like, you could just play mind tricks on people, which is wild, and I love it. So, wonderful. This is probably one of my favorite recent lands that have come out, and that is Unclaimed Territory. This card is awesome. Ixalan, man, y'all. Ixalan, such a good set. Such a good set. So, you choose a creature type when it enters the battlefield. So, you know, tribal decks, hello. And then you add colors to your pool, and then you add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, only to cast a creature spell of that chosen types. Again, this is like tribal people's dreams. Is like, this card is so good. I like that this card also taps for a colorless, so if you don't have it as a creature spell, you can just, like, tap it as a colorless, like, whatever, and it doesn't enter the battlefield tapped. Ixalan, man. Ixalan, just where it's at. Love it. Okay, the next card is, again, a little bit more of an expensive card, but honestly, I think worth the money, and it's funny, as I was, like, putting this card on here, I realized I've never talked about this card on my channel, which seems really surprising. Maybe I did before, I don't know, but Urborg is good. Now, it doesn't tap for anything, so it's a land, but it doesn't tap for anything, but honestly, it doesn't matter. You run this card if you have a lot of black mana symbols, you have Swamp Walk, basically, to make everything swamps. This is like, if you're playing Swamp Walk, like, you just need this card. Like, it just makes it so, so good. Or if you just need, like, a ridiculous amount of, like, black mana symbols, or, like, it matters, Nykthos is your answer, honestly. It's so dumb. Because if you, like, have Swamp Walk, creatures, but they don't have swamps, it's like, this is annoying. And then you're like, oh, get my Urborg, like, it's okay. And then, like, you just, oh, like, so good. So good. And the last card, I think we're ending on a pretty good note, and that are the Panorama cards. I really like these lands a lot. They are the, I believe, only tri-colored. So if you're running a tri-color decks, I really recommend these cards because it's 1 and tap it to sack it to search for a basic forest, plains, or island card and enter the battlefield tapped. I just, like, this card's just cute. Like, you know, you just see cards and you're like, that's like a cute ability. Like, it's not overpowered, and it's not, like, underpowered. It's just, like, I don't know, like, it's like a muffin. Like, it's just cute. You're just, like, I like this ability. It just makes me happy. I don't know if that, like, makes sense. Like, does anyone else, like, get that? But, like, I don't know. I just like it. I like that you can search for any of the forest, plains, or islands. So, anything in that color identity, like, this is Bant, so obviously you get any of those. And it comes in a battlefield tap, so it's a good, like, end of turn type of thing to do, and it kind of like filters land basically. And then if you're not doing that right now, you can just like tap it if you like need that, or like for whatever reason you could just do that. So guys, that is it. Those were 10 more basic land cards. Already have part 7 coming on the way in a couple months to you guys. So that is everything I have to say for this video. Like my video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I will see you guys in my next video.